Hello everyone. Good afternoon. This is Abigail Barella with Sparkle and Shine Guidance, and this is your Gemini New Moon Oracle. And the new moon is 2 days after, I think it's 2 days. Yeah, today's Wednesday, it's Friday. So 2 days after the sun moves into Gemini, we're having the new moon in Gemini. So really a big initiation into Gemini energy this week. If you're not feeling it, you may want to check your pulse, because this last little bit, especially over this last weekend, we were closing out a lot of things, and the intensity was very high. Especially a lot of people were feeling very fatigued, and so it's very important to listen to those pulls when you need to rest, because we're coming into this very busy information-oriented time period, and there's lots of, as I said, information and downloads available at this time, and that can be overwhelming, especially if you're not resting your body, taking care of your nervous system. All of those things are extremely important, not only this week, but this whole next month. We are, with this new moon, being initiated into a brand new cycle of eclipses, and the eclipse season is here because the full moon is a partial eclipse. It's not a full-on eclipse. It's not super intense, but we will definitely be feeling it. And I think we're even starting to get hints of that energy now. We have eclipses every 6 months, and the North Node has just moved into Gemini last month. So this is literally the first eclipse cycle where we have the North Node in Gemini. And this is a very important time for looking at your personal community, the people closest to you, relationships, relating, and all of the things that go into interacting with others or with another, especially those closest to you. Your neighborhood, your group of friends, your siblings, that deep web of community that make us feel at peace and like we're able to be ourselves, okay? So Gemini really has to do with that, and we have Venus also retrograding. If you're interested in that, you can check out the whole other video that I did on Venus retrograde, but she's retrograding in Gemini, and at this new moon, she's conjunct Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini. So we have lots of mercurial energy. So I want to tell a really quick little bit about Mercury, but first let me say that Mercury is moving through Gemini very quickly, and there is this aspect with this new moon where we can't catch up to the downloads and the information and the new places that we're being pulled into. We can't keep up with it all, and that's okay. And to remind yourself that there will be a period for you to integrate and bring all this information in, but it's not necessarily this week or this month or possibly even next month. So journaling becomes super important and super vital. This is an ideas time, lots of ideas coming in about your future, about ways you can go and which different avenues you can, kind of put your feet in the water around. And in journaling, you can write down ideas and things as they're coming in without needing to dive into every possible opportunity, okay? So it's very important to take care of your energy in that way, to know that not all roads are meant to be going down, not all rabbit holes are worth your time and energy. Yet you can write down what's coming through for you and different ideas that you're getting, so that when you do have more of that time to integrate, you can definitely go down those avenues. So this new moon is really an ideas time. This new moon personally for me is always super connected to the astral realm and to the divine guides and angels. So if you have the opportunity to drop in, get out in nature, tune into the divine, because Mercury, let's talk about Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini, and Mercury is the god that is the most connected to processing and downloads that there is. He's able to not only go to the upper realms, but also go to the underworld and bring in information from all areas for us to integrate and move with. Mercury is also the trickster. He's the trickster energy, the coyote energy. And so there's lots of wisdom in being able to not take things as seriously at this time and really seeing things in a playful, light way. This is how Mercury is connected into our childhood and our youthfulness, and the two twins of Mercury are able to see things from two different sides, which is very valuable at this time when we have a lot of strong dogma and strong ideas about what's right and what's moral, and a lot of bullying around those beliefs. And Gemini is able to see both sides. Well, maybe we're not seeing the whole picture here and really not taking things as personally. Geminis just have a natural ability to not be as triggered on a personal realm and be able to see the greater good or the greater collective ways of looking at things. So we really want to tap into that, especially because the North Node is newly into Gemini. It's in that critical degree of Gemini where there is so much that we have the possibility of moving into during this cycle. We really want to look back to 2012 as a major initiation into this energy, and also the deeper inner workings that might have been happening that now are able to kind of come out into the world. So the North Node in Gemini means this is the energy we're supposed to be moving into. Again, I have a whole other video on North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius. But one of the things that we're meant to leave behind with the Sagittarius South Node is that dogmatic, really, there's only one way of being, and it's very masculine, patriarchal. You're not intellectual if you're not really looking at this one journal article. And Gemini's like, hey, media is connected with Gemini, and also sales is connected with Gemini. So this Gemini North Node is showing us like, yeah, hey, well, that one article or that one, media type might not have had your best interest in mind, and there might be money behind this, okay? So this is Gemini North Node is really kind of taking that bigger information and bringing it down into your community, into your family, into your close-knit area where you live, and how can you be in your full truth in that one smaller realm instead of thinking, it's the whole like think globally, act locally. Well, we're really being asked to think locally right now. So much so that with all of this Gemini energy, we have the Sun, the Moon, Venus, Mercury, and the North Node all in Gemini at this Gemini New Moon. And that means that we're really, really supposed to be leaning into our close surroundings, our neighborhood, checking in on our neighbors, checking in on our close friends, and also checking in on our own connections with those people and making sure that we're keeping them very clean and full of integrity, because we really need those connections. There is this temptation because we have access to so much. We have access to the world at our fingertips through our phone. But is that connection as real as talking with your neighbor? Is that connection as real as checking in on your close friends, okay? So don't forget those deeper, soulful ways of being when you can be in person with people and really connecting with people, as opposed to which, Saturn in Aquarius is trining this new moon, which is this temptation to think that we can get everything we need just by, working at home and connecting through the internet and connecting through media and social media especially. And that's an illusion. We are literally going to see a lot more censorship and a lot more controlling of what we're being shown in social media. And so the illusion is that we can have these deeper connections online, and sure, some of that is true, and I've met many amazing people all over the world through this platform, and I'm so grateful for that. And at the same time, we really have to continue to build that community close to us and around us. So that's what I want to say about that. Mercury is very active, and with that trine to Saturn, we also want to take into consideration that this new moon is the opportunity to sow seeds, because Saturn has to do with time and things that take time, and also like the earthly kind of 3D reality of doing our work. That because of that nature of the trine to Saturn, this is a really fertile new moon to change and adapt in the way that we're thinking. Gemini is a mutable sign, and all of the mutable signs have to do with changing and this ability to morph and move with the times. And the fixed signs of the cardinal signs don't have that as much. Part of the reason for this is that Gemini comes right before summer. It's the end of spring, and it's really a fertile time. If you look around you, I don't know where you live, but it's just so green and so lush, and so many things are happening and growing and taking seed, and the seeds. Okay, all right, I don't know what happened, but okay, I'm gonna wrap up because I'm obviously being kicked off. So, we are coming into eclipse season. We are coming into eclipse season that is, the signs are immutable signs, which means change and adaptability. So we really have to look at what we're being asked to drop, especially relating to our story about community and our neighborhood and our siblings and our ways of connecting with others. We are also with a square to Mars in Pisces. This has to do with our big dreams, and this has to do with our most spiritual desires for our lives and where our soul wants to go. And so we really have to look at our own personal blocks to communicating and sharing and interacting with others around those deeper needs. Neptune is also square to Venus and Mercury at this new moon, which means a conflict between the ability that we have to adapt, Gemini, adapt the ways that we're communicating and the ways that we're connecting into our heart in full integrity. And so Neptune can show us where we've been delusional, where we've been a little bit even tricking ourselves about who we are and how we're showing up. And this new moon asks us to just a little bit modify and adapt to our own integrity and what that would really look like. So that's the invitation with this new moon. This new moon is very potent, and I will be offering tarot readings. I'll make a different post about that. And the other thing that I have going on is next week we're doing a 3-part series diving into Venus retrograde, diving into the North Node in Gemini, diving into your personal placement of Venus and your personal placement of the North Node to understand your relationship to others and how you relate to others, not just romantically, not just friendship-wise, how you relate to others having to do with money, having to do with your dharma, having to do with how you get what you need from others, and if that is in alignment with your truth and where you're meant to go in this lifetime. So if you're interested in that 3-part series, I will post a link. I do have one in my profile that you can check out. And it's going to be a deep dive. It looks at your personal chart and the collective, where everything is right now, the transits, and comparing the two, and really diving in with a group around this exploration of Venus and the North Node. So I hope that you consider joining me. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in. And because it's Gemini season, I feel like there's 50 more things that I want to say and share about this new moon, but that will just have to wait. And I hope to see you next week for the deeper dive into this. Oh, geez, it's just lagging a little bit. Okay, have a great day. Bye.